Hello everybody, if you could let me know once you can hear me. That'd be good. Oh, you can hear me, good. How do we do this again? Just about ended the tour by mistake. Hello all. Croaky. This is the new eyes for today. Great, hi, thank you Linda for letting me know. Hi Tish, hello Lee, hey Annette, lots of people, hi, and welcome to sunny, beautiful Amsterdam. I hope you're all well, enjoying spring, most of you. Anyway, same hemisphere as me. So, let's go this way round. This is where we were last week. These lovely big Kromhauthausen over here. And let's carry on. So there's all scaffolding there, so let's do a slow pan around this way. Hey, it's Tony here. Welcome, Tony. Thanks for joining. So we're still on the Herengracht. This is the last week of us being on the Herengracht, and then we're going to jump somewhere else. Here's the button window. Oh, the eclipse has started. Cool. I mean the button window, the button shop from last week. And here we are, moving along. There's a very cute little house here with a turret. And you don't get so many turrets in Amsterdam. Let me show you the turret. Hello, Rhoda. Look how blue the sky is. What a treat. Okay. So the turret. This was built in 1882, and it's in what's called the Neo styles. And up at the top there's a funny little detail, which is the hoisting beam, which is coming out of a lion's mouth for some reason. You'll have to trust me, that's a lion. Looks a bit weird from this angle, but it is on it. And here's this cute little piece of canal here. One of the few places you can't go through with an engine because of the erosion on the sides of the buildings. Even if it's an electric boat, so it's ready just for people to paddle through. Which came first, the top or the turret? Yeah. Cute little turret. And the turret's actually got a separate door as well, which is kind of unusual. I love curved windows, they're so great. Hello, Ruth. Welcome, nice to see you. You're not out gallivanting. Okay. So, now there's a very odd little building over here, because there's a building that looks like such a grand house. Let me show you here. It does look like a ram, but it's not, it's a lion. I think so anyway. Looked like a line from the other side. Look how grand this house looks. Okay, so it's got like a super grand front door. Kind of Louis XIV look to it. And it looks like all sorts of other grand buildings. But, oh, I got street cleaners coming, so I'm just gonna run away. Have a look at it from this angle here, and you'll see that it's only 5 meters deep. Okay, it's just that deep. So it's actually a really, really narrow house. Hi. The street cleaners are saying hello to me. It was an old warehouse, and it was pimped up and made into a home with this very grand facade. Well, you know, it was the question is whether the turret was a separate house. No. It was a business. It was actually a butter and a cheese exporting company, and the business had the whole premises. So I don't know why they opted for a turret. I don't know, maybe it was owned by a princess. Hello, Tom, welcome. Yeah, so It was actually a business premises. Okay. Now, we're going to be ending up across the canal over there. That's where we end the tour, and I'll show you some video from inside that beautiful house. Actually, I'm glad I remembered to show it to you from this side of the canal. My goodness, these scaffolds go up quickly. You know, last time I was here, that wasn't there. Thankfully, I wasn't planning on talking. It was owned by Rapunzel. Got it in one. Ronnie takes the prize. Definitely owned by Rapunzel. Okay, let's pop down this little side street. It's called Bowlingstraat. And odd name. There's not too much to show you down here. What did cross my mind when I was down here is, you know, Amsterdam is just so full of grand buildings. I mean, look at that. This is being renovated. And I mean, look at how grand it is. And that got me thinking, how much is the city worth? You know, all I would need is a building like this, and you know, I could retire for life, okay? But every single block has got the most phenomenal buildings in it, and they're all worth millions. Hey, Todd! Okay, has the eclipse has happened already? Okay. Thank you for tuning in, Todd. Okay, so what I wanted to show you here is this funny building. Very, very different. Okay, blue, blue sky. So it's also neo, it's got a really neo-Gothic look to it. And it says there, liefdewerk en catechismus. Now, liefdewerk means love work. It has nothing to do with the red light district. It's got to do with charity work. So stop thinking that. And catechisme is a catechism. So liefdewerk de catechisme. And I had to look up what catechism is. Maybe some of you know better than me, but I actually had to look it up. And it said it was a way of teaching religious texts to, and I swear, this is just what I looked up, to women and to religiously neglected or mentally handicapped children. Why those different groups would be lumped together on Wikipedia, I don't know. But hey, don't shoot me, I'm only the messenger. Now there's a chapel at the back here, and that butts up onto the Krijtberg Church, which was the Jesuit church. And you'll see it's actually it's a Jesuit building now. Okay, 12 years of Catholic school. Wow. And welcome, Mary Ellen. Nice to see you. Okay, let's go back to the Herengracht. But great little buildings, aren't they? I mean, this is quite a nice little side street. I wouldn't mind living here. Mind you, there could be church bells all Sunday morning, no sleeping in. So it's learning by rote, I think, the catechism is probably, is that when like the priest says something and then the congregation says something back, or is it something like that, I wonder? Now, this rather unusual building here used to look like the one to the left of it, with the neck gable up there, but it was altered to have sort of like curved bits on there. And the building says 1649. Now this is interesting because we're now in a part of the Canal belt from here onwards that expanded. Oh right, okay, thanks Maria, who made you? God made me. Like that, okay. Yeah, that's a good way of drumming it in. So this building predated the expansion of the second expansion from there of the Canal belt, because the 1614 Canal belt came right out to here to the Leidsegracht, and then they stopped there, and then they started from exactly here in 1665. Now, the whole point of all of this is to show you that the building line goes straight over here, yeah? So straight down there. And the new building line actually came to here. But this house already existed. So if it had been built new, it would have been built out to here. But because it existed, it just had this little wedge of ground in front of it. And they just kept it as an open piece of ground. And in various incarnations, there's been like plants and stuff in here. And this is said to be the only little enclosed garden, not that it's much of a garden at the moment, it's not, on the entire Herengracht. And this house here actually also used to be back there and go down, but in an expansion of the 1700s, they brought the whole thing forwards. And of course, you probably know this by now, all of you, but when you get a little house like this on the outside of a house, it was known as the pot house, because that's where they kept the toilet. Okay. So let's just try and get a nice view up the Herengracht here. Onto the bridge. There we go. How's that for a typical Amsterdam view? Yeah, no wind, Susan, it's lovely. And we had a really nice weekend. Saturday was like 70 degrees or something. All my tulips have burst into bloom. It's really nice. But anyway, should have pots of tulips. Yeah, I like growing tulips in pots, as many of you have seen, no doubt, from the photographs I put in the Facebook group. For any of you that are not in the Facebook group, the private one, you can find a link in the description. It's called Mark and Lee's Splendid Amsterdam Adventures, is the name of that group. And it's where I put, oh, look at all these notifications and stuff about these tours. Here I've got a little bed of red tulips. Amsterdam in the springtime. Okay, yet another building. And let me see, where are my notes? Here we go. This was actually KLM House number 52. Okay, so just line it up nicely. So the KLM houses, I'm sure you know about them. You used to be presented, or you probably still are presented, with the Delft China, Delft earthenware really. At KLM House, that is a little gin bottle full of Geneva. So if you fly first class, you get one of those. Anyway, look, this was built in 1891, and it was used by a Roman Catholic organization for the benefit of faith and science. Faith and science. And from 1977, it became home to the Bookman Foundation and Library. And that is actually up here, the library, and maybe even one floor up as well, I'm not sure. It's a private library, and I tried to get in to photograph some details, and unfortunately the day that I had available, because they're not open every day of the week, they'd actually had a group that was renting the library and I wasn't able to get access. So, and of course I can't show you the picture online because I don't own the copyright. But anyway, there's the Emanuel Bookman Library. And this is an organization involved into research into the arts and culture and how that translates into generally government policy. Okay, now it's named after a long deceased Jewish politician. His name was Emanuel Bookman. So actually that means bookman, and he came from a family of book dealers. Okay. And it's called the Bookman Stichting now. Stichting is a foundation, knowledge center for kunst, art, culture and policy. Okay, now I got a photograph of him. I got a picture of that and an actual photo, so you can see what he looked like. He was a very interesting man, well worth looking up. And he was a member of Amsterdam City Council, involved in bringing arts to the working classes. Okay, and this was done by including art into building projects. Now, he tried to flee the invading Nazis, and on the 15th of May 1940, That's when the country was occupied. And he and his wife were unable to escape to England. And what he did with his wife and some of their friends, as so many other Jewish Amsterdammers did, is that they all committed suicide together, rather than, obviously they had a pretty good idea of what was coming, and that is something that many people did during that time, unfortunately. I guess looking back, you'd have to say, well, wow, you know, they possibly saved themselves a whole lot of suffering and managed to end their lives on their own terms. But what a terrible situation to be in. Now, this building here has an interesting detail on it. This is called, where is it? There it is, a globus cruciba. Okay, I also had to look that up. I've always known it by the Monty Python name of the Holy Hand Grenade. And generally it's the globe held in a monarch's hand with the cross the side up. And that shows sort of, you know, how would you say, the dominating, you know, the power of the monarch. Now, this is interesting because, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is upside down, it's inverted. And it says 1634. And as you know, this part of the Canal Belt was only developed in 1665. So what's going on here? Well, it was taken from another building. It was taken from a building in an area called the Lastage, the shipbuilding area. And the nails are probably a reference to the house it was originally on, that was something to do with carpentry and shipbuilding. And people think that it's upside down because this was a period when we had no Prince of Orange in control. It was called a stadhouderless period, and the Amsterdam citizens were in control, and they had, now 1634 was really the golden age, as they call it, you know, when Amsterdam was sort of beginning to dominate global trade, really getting moving. So you know what? This is not right. I got my years mixed up, because 1648 was the beginning of the stadhouderless period, not 1634. So you're going to have to just scrap that whole thing I said. However, that doesn't change the fact that it was really the citizens of Amsterdam who had dominated global trade, sort of really creating themselves more into merchant princes. So, good thing I can vaguely think of what I'm saying as I go along. Okay, so what have we got next? We've done the Holy Hand Grenade. Okay, oh yeah, let's have a look up here. Let's try not to, oops, let me zoom out. Got some people drinking wine, oops, in the, oh, come on. You know, sometimes, there we go. Don't want to get the wine drinkers on their little stoop in. Lots of little alleyways here, or gangen. Old book alley, or gang. You see, you know gang, gang, it's actually where the word gangway comes from, like a narrow walkway. And because this was the old side of town, there were still lots of those gangen. Now, here's a parking area, which there used to be houses here actually originally. I'm trying to get out. I don't think I'm zoomed out completely, maybe I am. There used to be houses here because they hid the Mennonite church, the sort of hidden away Mennonite church that was behind. And the houses have disappeared. This is a very odd sculpture. It's meant to be an angel. Okay. Why not, if you say so? I'll let you decide if you think it's an angel or not. And this is just a little bit about it. It's not only an angel, it's a flying angel. A vliegende Vogel, bird anyway. But it is meant to be an angel. And it was made in the 1950s. You can kind of get that, can't you? Somewhat abstract. But this church, some of you may remember that I showed you inside. And because these videos are so so difficult to get sometimes, I actually want to show it to you again. Because the inside is just behind there. Now, the last time you saw this, I was from the next canal. So this is walking in from the next canal. And there's a long passageway which comes all the way down here. At the end of the passageway, you get to a door and you come out into this parking area. So you go down to the end there, turn left and right, and then you'd be where I'm standing now. But if we go into the church here, and a really nice kind of serene gallery style hidden away Mennonite church with this really beautiful pulpit. And you'll see there's a sculpture of the Bible with the pages flying either up or down. Yeah, the angel looks very much like a Picasso angel to me, so I've never seen a real angel. Very good point. Very good point indeed. I'm actually tempted to do something. You know, what I do sometimes, I might have told you this before, what I do sometimes on my in-person tours when I've got youngsters, say normally when they're like 12 or 15 or something, is I often say to them, okay, during the tour I'm going to say 3 things which are not true, and then I want you to tell me what they are. And the first time I did this, because it engages the kids, the first time I did this, at the end they asked me what the things were, and I couldn't remember, okay, which was a bit embarrassing because I'd now planted 3 pieces of misinformation into these young impressionable minds, and maybe I should do that on these tours. I should say something incorrect, and then that could be the quiz question. Maybe. Anyway, beautiful church. You can just ring on the bell and go inside. They're very welcoming. I think that's enough of that. So, more building. Oh, this building. You know, I'm a bit fragmented as well because I researched some of this a few days ago, and then I've been really busy with in-person tours. And then I did some the other morning, and I've just kind of scratched together the rest this afternoon. This place here, it's a company now called The Collection, and they rent out office spaces. Really beautiful, fancy office spaces, and they've got a bunch of buildings all over Amsterdam. Now, it's a lovely house, as you can see, and I wanted to go into the reception rooms and everything, and then just ask if I could take either a photo or film, and they did get back to me, and they said, well, yeah, I could, but would I do a free walking tour for them, like a 3-hour in-person walking tour, because they have a lot of expats who have offices there and they might like it. And I declined because I just, that's a lot of time, 3 hours, and it was just for a quick photo. Anyway, they said they would send me a photo of the inside after I said no to the walking tour, but they never got around to doing it. But it's a beautiful building. See the gorgeous sort of Dutch classicism volutes on the side there with the unusual faces on either side. And then right at the top, they're griffins holding a crest. Nice catching the sunlight like that. How cool is that? Anyway, truly lovely building. And if I could afford, I might even rent some office space there, but not this week. And then this building here, which got a facelift in about 1890. Lots of interesting little sculptures of animals on the building. First of all, here we have an otter beaver. The otter is eating a fish, and the beaver is beavering away and chewing on a tree root or something, as beavers do. Now, this building here for a long time was actually Scheltema, the Scheltema bookstore, which is now moved to Rokin. Now, I just want to show you some close-ups of other animal details here on this building. So you can have a look at that as I walk up onto the bridge. So there's a hawk, there's a squirrel that actually looks like the squirrel's eating a mouse. But I don't think that squirrels ate mice, the one on the left. Anyway, the other one on the right is just being quite innocuous. I love the top right kind of weird fish sort of shape. Crazy. And then the bottom right, it looks to me, it was a bit blurred because it's zoomed in so far, but the bottom right looks a little bit to me like, not the feet, but the top looks a bit like Baby Yoda, don't you think? Anyway, Baby Yoda from 1891 or whatever it was. Okay. Well, Tish, thank you for that interpretation. I'm happy to go with that. I should have thought of that, really. Okay, now, I researched this today and I don't even know which house it is, so let me find it. It's number 418. Let's go on a hunt together. Number 418, I think it's the black one. No, it's not. It's the one next to it. .420 and 418. So here we go. Very classic doorway with the Ionic pilasters. This is 418? Yeah, that's 418. So it's this building here. And as with every city that's been around for a long time, you know, every building tells a story. Actually, every building probably tells lots and lots and lots of stories. So, during the Second World War, this housed a pro-Nazi publishing house. And within hours of the German surrender, and that was on the 5th of May 1945, the place was taken over by a sort of underground resistance publisher's house. And they published probably a magazine or a pamphlet called The Busy Bee, De Bezige Bij. And I'm quoting now, I'm reading a quote about what happened. So they took possession of the house, and with the help of poets and writers, they cleared the entire space out. Books, swastika flags, portraits of Hitler, Mussert, and the other, in inverted commas, gentlemen, were ripped up and thrown out the windows where passers-by could vent their rage by destroying the lot. Most of it ended up in the Canal. The archive of the NSB, that's the Dutch Nazi movement, was examined and taken away for more thorough investigation. So, how's about that? Now, I remember bumping into this house and the story of it months and months ago when I thought I was going to be coming down here, and then I decided to wait until the leaves had fallen from the trees. Hi. And I found this house and I found out what it's used for, and it's really quite marvelous. So let's just have a look at it first. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Great 4 pilasters, 4 composite pilasters. Very grand. And going up, Dutch classicism at its finest, Philip Fingbones. And absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is number 412. And it's run by an organization. I'll just show you on the door because maybe you can Google it. and it's called Herengracht. And there you go, domusmagnus.com. Okay, now, so I just get back to the relative safety of a parking space. Now, this is a company that provides care to the elderly with either or both physical or cognitive care needs. I didn't even try to get in because obviously some of the people are quite vulnerable and there's absolutely no way they would let somebody go in and film, so I didn't even try, but that's fine. I actually got them to send me a brochure, an electronic one, so I could learn more about it. Now, if you're in that group of people, you can rent an apartment here, and the apartments are 40 to 80 square meters. In feet, that's 360 to 720. And they comprise a living room, a bedroom, a kitchenette, a bathroom. And the people living here can self-furnish, so you can take your favorite furniture with you, and also pets are welcome. There's 24-hour support available with obviously alarm buttons and that type of thing. And then downstairs there are the common areas where you can meet other residents, and there's a bistro where you can eat, and also family members are welcome to join for meals in the bistro or indeed the kitchenette. And also they have a lot of cultural and musical activities. So what a place to stay. It doesn't come cheap. It's about 5,000 euros a month. Let me show you a rare view. This is taken from their website. But, you know, I mean, you get all sorts of different people with different means, and if you can afford it, what a wonderful place to be. So that's from their website. They actually have 37 properties all around the country. Now the garden is 50 square meters, and that is how many is it? Is it 5,000 or 500? No, it must be 500 square feet. No, it's 500 meters. Sorry, it's a good thing I wrote down. 500 square meters, which is about 5,000 square feet, the garden behind. So I took this is from Google Maps, just to give you an idea. It's the block on the left, and you can see behind these blocks in both cases just how much greenery there is, yeah? And we often forget that with these canal houses, that they make rectangular places like that. So the original garden had lawns, and that was used for bleaching linen, bleaching lawns. And I got another couple of pictures for you. In the garden, and still, is this garden house. And the frame of the garden house is actually the oldest garden house in the city, but actually the fancy bit on top, zooming in the wrong one, was added in the 1700s when it had a rich resident. Now his name was Paulus Loot, L-O-O-T, and he was very well connected, but he came to a very unfortunate end. I quote, this is quite, the poor chap, okay, now I quote, "He died after severe hemorrhoids had given rise to such serious inflammation as to cause his entire body to be racked by gradual and ongoing decay." It just made me think when I read that how incredibly lucky we are to live in the time that we do. You know, when medical science has advanced so much that things which would have just caused unbearable suffering before are now just not an issue, you know. How lucky we are. Unbelievable. Okay. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings here. They were all built identically, and some of them, so I think that one would have looked more or less like that. These with 1700s or 1800s upgrade to the front, just to give you an idea how things have changed in the city. And now I'm looking for number 390. Oh, they're over there, right. Okay, but let's just have a look up the Herengracht. The light's a canal because it's going to be kind of pretty in this light. It's rather spoiled by the bright orange van, don't you think? Okay, let's zoom in and try and get rid of that. There we go, that's, oh, right, and now we've got a porta potty on the right. Okay, I'm not winning. Okay, right, let's see. These two buildings are interesting because they're built as twins. They're kind of the same. And let's see, they were from 1665, so they were built the year of the expansion. And a couple of interesting things about them. Up at the top, the gables, and instead of zooming in, I'm just going to show you a photograph that I took earlier in the week. Where are we? Oh, there it is. They have couples, a man and a woman, on each side of the neck gable, so that you can see over there, yeah. And you see how their hands, their arms are kind of pointing towards each other's arms. Now, if you look at the next one, you might be able to see that there's actually a rope joining their hands together. And this is to show the bond between the pair. Okay, so you can see the rope there, yeah? And then if we go back to this one, there's no rope. That is because the people got divorced. No, I'm joking. Just making that up. The rope was just lost at some point in one of the renovations. But what I do see from this is like, isn't just amazing what a facelift can do. So on the right, we have probably Bentheim sandstone, and it's very, very indistinct. And then, as I was going to say, Susan, on the left, it's not cleaned. It's very difficult to clean this. The one on the left is actually painted. Now, there's been a talk about doing this to the Royal Palace because this is built, paint in the same stone. So, I always thought, well, it'll probably look terrible painted. But then when you see these two side by side, I don't think they're made out of plaster. I think they're probably carved stone. So it's carved stone up at the top by the look of it to me. Okay. You know what I haven't done is I haven't thought of a quiz question yet. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, but let's have a look at this building here. It's an interesting one. The one we saw from across the corridor, how do you say? The canal. Okie dokie, here we go. Oh. If you hear me go splash, I've stepped backwards too far. Okay, Herengracht number 386 is what we have here. And amazingly, it all fits into the screen. Okay, good old Dutch classicism. It actually used to have a double stoop. So, like we've seen on, like that. Here's a single stoop. And this had a double one, so there were steps going up, and the front door was set higher, okay? So there would have been steps going up, and the front door would have been at that level. Which is why there's a skylight up there, because that was above the original front door. But then they reduced that to street level and put in a door, so we actually get a double skylight, which is unusual. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about this building, and then we're going to have a look inside. But as I'm telling you the story, I think I'll just do a slow pan around, so you're just not looking at the same building the whole time. In 1791, it was owned by a guy called Jan Willink. Now, he was a merchant and a banker, and he bought the house. Now, he was actually wildly successful in business. and so successful that many people came to him looking for loans and looking for investors. And one person was John Adams, a founding father of the United States. He came looking for both investors and loans. And how beautiful is that? Oh my goodness. So, Willink, who was very well connected, managed to raise amongst various investors, he managed to just rustle up 30 million, and that was then. So now the amount that he rustled up was actually the value of 22 billion US dollars in today's money. Okay, I know one or two US politicians who'd be quite keen on that now. When Adams wrote to Willink and his brother actually, and this was in 1782, and he wrote to them that Britain had accepted American independence. What the brothers wrote back is, and I quote, "We take a most hearty share in this happy event and congratulate your Excellency with it, desirous to see the other European powers embrace this opportunity to do justice and homage to the protectors and defenders of liberty." So, there you go. So let's have a look at the building again. Now it is home to a museum. You can go in, and it's a particularly nice one for reasons I'm going to tell you. Now, besides seeing some grand rooms, upstairs you go on a 45-minute tour. So you go in and then they give you an audio thingy that you listen to. As you go into different rooms, you click go, and they put people through like about 8 minutes apart. And it's really interesting because you go to the first room and it tells you about how Amsterdam expanded with interesting, audio-visual stuff and, lights that light up and show models of the city. And then you go into another room which actually shows how the foundations of all the buildings are. And you see little videos and maquettes and models of the different pile foundations and what have you. You can't see inside too well. That is actually really, really interesting to do as well. And then it's very, very informative. Basically, it gives you an education of the Canal Belt and how it was formed, ending up with this great big model of the Canal Belt, which they light up in different times when they want to tell you different elements of the story. So it's both educational and interesting, and here is what it looks like inside. Voila. So you'll see how you go in and then up the stairs, which would have been outside initially, but they redid the house, rejigged it, and had internal stairs. Very, very elegant, actually. And then in you go. And this is the room looking towards where I am now. And with some really nice art. There's some modern stained glass art, which I actually put on my Facebook page as well. Looking out at me now. Very, very grand. There's a Vicchia above the door. This is like a 3D painting that's 2D but looks 3D, which was really the speciality of a painter called De Wit. Beautiful, very, very popular in Amsterdam Canal houses. I think you didn't really have one unless you had a De Wit. Funny how the room makes the grand piano look small, huh? And then there's this beautiful room here with the Arcadian landscape. So this was also a big fashion. You see the hidden door on the left there that the servants would have used to go to, and another hidden door there to go through to staircases so they could get around the building. And look in the mirror, there's a lovely ceiling. I'll show you a photograph of the ceiling. So yeah, you see, I think this has got a bit of everything visiting this house, and there's a lovely garden as well. Which was closed when I was there, but of course it's now springy, and the garden would be open also. And here's the ceiling. So it's a really, really beautiful place place to have a little look around. Amsterdam is so full of beautiful places to have a little look around. Okay, now I need, and I really haven't thought of this. Is there anybody, yes, Laurie, it's a museum. Is there anybody who doesn't have a slicey? Anybody who does not have a slicey? Tish, do you have, no. Now Tish, you won one, didn't you? But then you gave it to somebody else. So, okay, so that doesn't really count. But is there anyone who doesn't have a, Tish doesn't have one. I would love to give you a slicey, Tish. Is there anybody else who doesn't have one? Do I need to think of a quiz question? There's something I forgot to tell you. Oh, never mind, I'll save it for another day. Okay, how's about this? Oh, Karen, okay, you don't have one. Okay, now, I showed you some gables. Yes, Laurie, but I'm going to give you a slicey soon. Okay, I showed you some gables, and they were twin gables. And on either side of the gable, there was a man and there was a woman. And in the one gable, the man and the woman were joined together by what? In the one gable it was missing, in the other one it was there. What was joining the man and the woman together in the gables? So gable, man, woman. Let's see if anyone remembers. And if they all come through at the same time, then the person we know in a couple of days, yes, it was a rope. So I've got N Sparkles as the person with the answer. He's starting a slicey business. Okay. Okay, so N Sparkles, if you can, contact me. You can find out how, hey, if you can like the video, people watching, if you can like it. I said that would be the question. Oh, really? Now, this is funny because I know that some of you have been guessing what the question was. So I thought what I'm going to do in the future at some point is I am going to say what is the answer, but I'm not going to ask you the question. You're going to have to work out what the question is. Okay, how's about that for a challenge? Anyway, great. So you got one. As I said, reach out. In the description, you can find my email address. Hello, Harriet. Welcome. And certainly if you're in the US, I need to put an email address in for posting it. And I'll get that off to you. So thanks for joining. And yeah, if you want to make a donation, that'd be cool. And if you can make a comment underneath. Was that a rope? No question. Not now make a comment, but when the video is actually live on Facebook, that'd be super cool. Okay, bye-bye everybody. Hey, next week it's Tulip Gardens. Okay, that's Wednesday. And I think I'm doing one of these on Monday, if I got time to prepare it, but I'll let you know in good time. Okay, bye everyone. Oh, let me just show you a nice closing shot of the canals. I think I'll do a slow pan around. Oh, thank you, Trisha. Bye-bye, Tony. Adieu, Natalie. It's a pleasure, Mary Ellen. Pleasure, Ruth. You take care. Oh yeah, enjoy the eclipse. Partial eclipse of the heart. Great. Okay. Bye all.